Welcome to InfiniWorlds. Now in this tutorial you will learn how easy it is to use InfiniWorlds to generate infinite world wrapping from just one or a few models in as little time as a minute. Now I'll be using some low poly example models, but you are free to use your own models as you see fit. Now the generation is calculated based on the model's mesh bounds, so you don't have to worry about the offset of your prefab's children. So to get us started, we're going to go ahead and drag in a couple of asteroid models here. These are just little low poly example models. And we're going to drag in our aircraft controller. Make sure the aircraft is set to player, because that is our player. We want to create a camera on the aircraft, because we do need to be able to see. We're going to offset that a little bit from the aircraft. That's good. Make sure the camera is set to the main camera tag. And now we're going to drag in the InfiniWorlds script. And over here we'll see the player tag is player, that's good. Additional tags is for bullets and things like that. We do want infinite wrapping. We're going to increase the world size a little bit. Let's go ahead and set it to an additional 500. And set a distance between the objects to 60. Because we don't want the asteroids to be right next to each other. We do want a little space between them. Now the starting environment, that is going to be where the generation begins. And that's going to help you to make sure your player starts in the right location. And we do want to wrap the starting environment. Now we have two additional objects, so we'll set the other environment to wrap to 2 and drag the other 2 asteroids in. Now in the section below that we have our randomization. And since this is going to be an asteroid field, we want a lot of randomization. And we want the fog color to be dark, because it is outer space, and outer space is not white. Okay. Now, everything should be set, and we go ahead and hit play. And what we will have after a couple of seconds of generation is an infinite asteroid field with randomization, and it is infinitely wrappable. You can keep going for as long as you wish, and you'll never reach the end. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and just delete these asteroids, delete the aircraft, and we will go ahead and just make one more just for this tutorial. We'll go ahead and drop in one of these megastructures. Now you can generate these from just cubes if you want to, or you can use Pro Builder or Blender or whatever you like to use, or you can use higher poly models. These are just some low poly examples. And we're going to go over here and set the to our InfiniWorlds script, set the other environment size to 0, because we're only going to be using this model for this example. And now we're going to drag this structure over here in the starting environment and set the distance between the objects to 0. And set the randomization to 0, because we want this to be fairly symmetrical. Now we're going to set the fog color to a nice little blue, and we will drag in the FPS controller and make sure he is right on top of this structure. And we will go ahead and hit play after we set the player tag. He already has a camera set to main camera, and we'll go ahead and hit play. Oops, and we did not set a collider. So we are falling through. We will fall infinitely, but we do want a collider on there. So what we're going to do is on here, just add a simple mesh collider and hit play again. And now what we have is an infinite megastructure that you are free to navigate. There's some stairs there leading up. We can jump down. And if we were to fall, we will fall infinitely. And the world will just keep wrapping. It will never end. Okay, let's go ahead and generate one more. Let's take just to give you an example here, if you did want some randomization for something like that, could make it really funky. Now that's a trippy world. And we can change the fog color. Make it a kind of evil looking. Now let's go ahead and drag in, let's say, some little floating islands here. A couple of these asteroids. Go ahead and add a mesh collider to that. Move our player over to it. And we will set a random position strength, a little bit of scaling, some random rotation there. Other environment is 0. Oh, we want that to be 3 because we're going to add in these boulders and asteroids. And set the starting environment to the floating island because that's where we want our player to start. And we'll go ahead and hit play. We have this infinitely wrapping floating island scene. Now again, you can use any models you want. These are just some examples, just to show the functionality of the script. And you could fall infinitely, forever. Now if we add a little distance between them, it might look a little better. Let's find out. Yeah, that's a little nicer, a little bit more sparse. I like it. Okay, now that does conclude this little brief demonstration, and I will be adding some additional videos if you would like to check those out. Thank you.